FC Cincinnati 2021 MLS Season Preview. Thanks for joining. My name is Mike. I am your host, Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast. FC Cincinnati, last year, the wooden spoon, 16 points, negative 24 goal differential. Good Lord, an ugly season for FC Cincinnati. It's been ugly since they came into the league, let's be honest. But this year is different. This year there is hope. This year there are signings. This year it looks like Cincinnati is going after this. And God, I hope I'm right. What a year we have in store now for Cincinnati. There finally seems like a little bit of consistency. Jap Stam comes in towards the end of last season. He is still the head coach now, which is not something that SFC Cincinnati can say is tenure for their team. So this preview, we're going to talk a little bit about the offseason, ins and outs, players in, players out, the designated players, as well as breakout youngsters. Who's the most important player? Plus, the most important thing is my predictions. So stay tuned all the way to the end of the show for my predictions on how I think FC Cincinnati will fare this MLS season here in 2021. Before we get started on the players in and out, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on your notification bell as well so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content, whether it's our regular podcast episodes, MLS picks and predictions, team previews, you name it, live games. We hang out, we watch live games together and chat in the comments, all this fun stuff. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, players in and players out for FC Cincinnati. A great offseason for them so far. Ronald Matarrita in a trade with New York City FC. Ben Mines, end of year waivers draft. Cody Cropper comes in as a free agent. Calvin Harris, Generation Adidas from the Super Draft. And the most important signing of the offseason, possibly in MLS, not only for FC Cincinnati, but Brenner. Transfers in from Sao Paulo. What a pickup this young man seems to be. Was recruited heavily by some big clubs over in Europe. He chose to come to MLS through Cincinnati. Cincinnati paid a lot of money for him, and we will see how he pans out. Now, players out. We've got goalkeeper Spencer Ritchie. Forward Rashawn Dolly, Sim DeYoung, Matthew Duplan, Greg Garza, Bobby Edwards, Tommy McCabe, Jimmy McLaughlin, Hassan Nadam, Ray Ortiz, and Kendall Waston. All of these guys had their options declined or were out of contract. A big list out, but these are guys who have not had any success in Cincinnati. Kendall Waston seems to be approaching the end of his playing days in MLS. Hassan Nadam, option declined. Greg Garza, same thing, option declined. Matthew Duplan, these are guys who are good pieces, but unfortunately they haven't fit the mold, and what Cincinnati needs most importantly is a change of culture, and that may have something to do with these players out. It might not. We don't know. But GM Gerard Nietzschkamp is seeming to be doing a good amount of work here for players in and players out so far for the 2021 season. All right, so moving from this list, one of the most important pieces, I think, outside of Brenner is Ronald Matarrita. This guy is a huge talent out of New York City FC, plays for the Costa Rican national team. He's had his moments at New York City. He's been a solid wing back, but unfortunately he's had some big hiccups with New York City, and it's time for him to move on. So a great pickup for Cincinnati, a great MLS vet piece, as well as Brenner, and we'll talk more about Brenner in our designated player section, which we're heading to next. So designated player review, 3 designated players for Cincinnati. Now, there is 4 listed on their website, but I'm assuming that Alan Cruz, I read something that he was bought down with TAM, so he's just a TAM player, but for some reason, he's still listed on FC Cincinnati's official website as a designated player on their roster page. But for the designated players for Cincinnati, you've got Jurgen Locadia, Yaya Kubo, and Brenner. So Jurgen Locadia, this is a very, very important 6-month stretch for him. What's going to happen? He is due to return to Brighton Hove Albion on loan. His loan was extended. Now it's expiring in the summer. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Will they buy Jurgen Locadia? Will they end up sending him back? What's going to happen? Looking at some of his numbers, 17 appearances, only 1 goal and 0 assists last season for Locadia. Not good enough for a designated player in MLS. Now, mind you, look at the team that he had around him. They finished bottom in the league last season. It could be better this season. The expectations are definitely much higher for Cincinnati this year. Plus, it's COVID. I mean, I've said it many times in all these team previews. It's a COVID year last year. It's hard to really take last year and say, yes, that is what this player will do in MLS. A lot of different things changing. Playing games, then going on break, then having a tournament in Orlando, then going back for phase 2, phase 3. Don't know where you're playing, when you're playing, how you're playing, or what your schedule looks like. Games getting canceled. You can't take everything from last season as like the word of saying, yep, that's it. Horrible season last year for Locadia, only 1 goal. So we'll see how he does this season with a little bit more stability. Yes, still technically a COVID year because there still is COVID out there. But I think there's a little bit more structure this season. So we'll see how Locadia does. It's very important for him the first few months of the season to prove and see if he's worthy of staying at Cincinnati. Now, second designated player, Yaya Kubo, 19 appearances last season for 3 goals. Kubo is a forward slash midfielder. Definitely is not just your out and out striker like Locadia. So be interesting to see how Yaya Kubo pairs up this year with Locadia and Brenner, the new signing from Sao Paulo, and that is your third designated player for Cincinnati. Brenner just comes over from Sao Paulo in Brazil, in Serie A in Brazil, a very, very good league, and was getting some huge interest from big clubs in Europe. How will this fare? A big time transfer fee as well. Cincinnati has not splashed the cash like they have for Brenner. There were some other rumors of bringing in possibly Pity Martinez back from Saudi Arabia, who was with Atlanta United. That seems to have flamed out. Nothing coming of that one. But Brenner, we'll see if the hype is real. We'll see if, they were saying that he could go over to some of the top leagues in Europe. Now we're going to see how he does in MLS, and hopefully it will be more of a Miguel Almiron type story rather than a Pity Martinez type story. No pun intended there, since I was just talking about Pity Martinez. But Brenner, can't wait to see what he does in a Cincinnati shirt. Let's see if the hype is real. That's all I can say. I mean, we could talk about this guy all day and what he's already accomplished, but we'll have to see, being 21 years old, what he can do for Cincinnati coming up this season. MLS Cup odds, 1 plus 10,000. The odds makers do not like Cincinnati to win MLS Cup this season. That is quite clear. And again, how could you, judging by the history of this club so far, albeit very, very short history. It's been a totally different story since this team came into MLS from when it was in USL, where it was very successful in USL, came into MLS, and it's been just a tire fire with the coaches and the management decisions and all that kind of stuff. So plus 10,000, yes, a good team. I kind of like these odds. I wouldn't mind putting a few bucks on it. This is a team to me that so far with what they've done in the offseason, they have a lot of talent on their squad. So I wouldn't mind putting $10 on it to win some big money. $10 that you might as well just plan on throwing away anyway if it doesn't go through, as you do with any type of bet for a whole season when you bet on a team to win the championship in the preseason. So those are the MLS Cup odds. Now, before we get into our Breakout Youngsters piece, guys, check out the join button right down below next to the subscribe button. You can join our channel, the Sons of a Pitch Soccer Membership Club here on YouTube. We offer 2 different levels of support, and this support is huge for us as a podcast, and it really covers the cost that we have to operate, and it really helps us with the support. That is $199 for the starter level. You're going to get your name in the scroll down on the bottom of all of our lives, which is our podcast episodes and live stream reactions. Plus, you're getting the loyalty badges and the custom emojis. Add that up, go to the designated player level. You're going to have members-only live stream reactions once a month. There's some other little perks here as well, and is a awesome way to show your support for the show and become part of that membership group here in one of the best communities on YouTube with Sons of a Pitch Soccer Podcast. All right, Breakout Youngsters, Zico Bailey, 20-year-old right back, homegrown player from Henderson, Nevada. 5 appearances. He's going to start as the backup right now, but he definitely has the possibility to break out. Very good young talent, came over from LA Galaxy too. I like him. And plus, his name is Bailey. I mean, his last name is Bailey, just like the Bailey, the supporters section for FC Cincinnati. What could go wrong there, right? Now, the second breakout youngster, and again, these youngsters, the way that being a national podcast, I can't stay up on all of these academies and youngsters coming up through each team. So I reach out to Reddit and get the feed right from the fans, the diehards themselves, and they help me make these decisions on these youngsters. So the second one that they highly recommended, and I completely agree with, is Alvaro Barreal. 5 appearances, 4 starts last season. Came over, got his feet wet in MLS. He's from Argentina. This is his year to break out. If he doesn't break out, probably won't last on the team. Sounds like there's some crazy talent there. Very young, could be a huge piece for Cincinnati. He's going to start, is at least my assumption, and can't wait to see what he does. I could see him really breaking out this season. So the 2 breakout youngsters to watch, Zico Bailey and Alvaro Barreal. Now, I always love the breakout youngsters because you can look at the results at the end of the season, come back and look at this preview and see who I thought the breakout youngsters would be and see if I fell flat on my face or if I picked them right. All right, so next up, the coach review. Jaap Stam coached at Reading in the championship and Feyenoord in the Netherlands. The most important thing I can say is give the man some time. Just give him some time. He's not going to whip this club into an MLS contender tomorrow. It's going to take time. He's got to build his own squad. He's seeming to be doing that so far. Management seems to be spending some money, as they did with Brenner. The rumors of Pity Martinez. Looks like FC Cincinnati is ready to drop some serious cash to try and be competitive in this league. And Jaap Stam, the coaching instability at Cincinnati has really killed this club from the get-go. And I know some of them there was no choice, like Ron Jans, you had to get rid of him. But Jaap Stam, give the man some time. Even if this year sucks and it's a horrible year, let him come back next year. That's the most important thing I can say. Give him a couple seasons to really prove himself with this. Great playing career at some of the biggest clubs in the world. Very comparable to another new head coach in this league, but new by starting this year will be his first season. Jaap Stam got some time last year for Cincinnati. Compare him to Gabriel Heinze from Atlanta. Played at some of the biggest clubs in the world, Manchester United, PSG, all those big time playing teams. So definitely has the experience, definitely understands the game of soccer. Let's see what he can whip up with Cincinnati going forward this year. So next is the projected starting 11. So I see them going in a 4-3-3 this season, kind of similar to what they did towards the end of the year last year. Again, this could be fluid with some of the new players coming in, but my projected starting 11 in the 4-3-3 is Teton in goal. Then from left to right, in defense, Matarrita, Pedersen, Vanderwerf, and Zhao. In the midfield, Frankie Amaya, whether he stays or not, we don't know what's going on with him. Harris Medunjanin, Yaya Kubo, and then up front, Brenner, Locadia, and Barreal. Dude, that front 3 right there is scary. That's one of the best front 3s in MLS if Brenner and Barreal live up to the hype. And same with Locadia. If they live up to the hype that they have on paper, then this could be a very, very dangerous attack for Cincinnati this season. Now, the next piece that I get into is the most important player. For me, this is the player where all things ride on this guy. If he does really well, then the team's going to do well. If he has a bad season, the team's going to have a bad season. So for me, that most important player is Jurgen Locadia. It's his time to shine, especially with Brenner and a better team around him in Cincinnati. If he doesn't, he's gone. He will not have his loan extended or purchased. If he has a bad half season, first 3 months of this year, forget about it. He will go back to Brighton Hove and Albion, and they'll probably end up selling him because if he can't cut it in MLS, he certainly can't cut it in the Premier League. And so this is a huge few months for Jurgen Locadia as a player and for Cincinnati as well. Really need a successful season out of Locadia, and by successful, I mean double-digit goals. I'm talking, 10-plus goals, also probably assisting on 3, 4, 5 goals as well to get this team into the playoffs where they have not been yet. So Jurgen Locadia, my most important player for FC Cincinnati. Now the first game of the season is April 17th against Nashville SC. Very winnable game. Nashville, a playoff team from last season, the expansion team. Nashville is one of the few younger teams than Cincinnati in MLS. Should be a good game. Mark the calendar. Can't wait for MLS to come back. And again, it's exactly a month away from today. Recording date is March 17th. So we've got exactly 1 month until opening kick. I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't wait either. All right, lastly, most important part of the show, my predictions. How I think this season's going to go in 2021 for Cincinnati. I'm going to give you a ceiling, and I'm going to give you a floor, just like all my other team predictions or team previews that I've done so far. So ceiling, everything goes right. This team starts to gel. Give them time. I've got them coming in as 5th in the Eastern Conference. Making the playoffs, it's an away playoff game, but I think that is the best this team can do as of right now. Possibly a few other signings. Give this team some time to gel. It's going to take time for this team to gel and understand Jap Stan's playing style. So ceiling, 5th seed. Floor, I've got this team as a 10th seed. I think they're going to improve on last year. They have to. The only way to go is up from the wooden spoon. But I think they will not be back in that position this season. I see them going to at a floor being the 10th seed in the East. And we'll see how they do this season. But overall, ceiling 5th seed, floor 10th seed. I expect a much better season for Cincinnati. I want this team to compete because this is, they've got a great fan base. You guys are awesome. You see the support in the stands, obviously not right now with COVID. But before that, the support was amazing, especially the run through USL. So really can't wait for this team to be successful for you guys. So with that being said, that is it for my show. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome American soccer content. And we'll be seeing you for the next preview. And make sure you come back for those live stream reactions during the season and our regular podcast episodes. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.